thank you so much for joining tonight. And thank you so much for being a part of my family and my community, a community of people that I believe are making an impact all across this world. And while sometimes it may feel as though you're not making an impact, I believe that it is in the hours where we may not consider ourselves to be as successful. I believe that those are the moments and the times where we find that our greatest tools and our greatest talents, that they permeate out of us and they actually change the lives of those that are around us. I know that we are in a culture where everyone is so focused on how to climb to the next level for themselves. I know that we are a part of a society and a generation where everyone is grinding so that they can just get more. But I believe that there are individuals that are planted across this world that are not just for themselves, but they're for the greater of humanity, the greater of us all. And I believe that I am connected to individuals such as yourself, that you make it your heart's desire and your ambition that you may fulfill your purpose, not just so that you can be recognized or that your name can go on in lights or that you can see your name on a building or so that you can have more money just for you. But there are some of you that are doing what you do because you want your purpose to be fulfilled, that other people's lives may be elevated and that other people's lives may be blessed. And I believe that it is those individuals that have humbled themselves in that way to serve others, to put others first in their prayers and hearts, that they would be conscious of how they show up with others, that they would consider how their actions impact others. I believe that it is those individuals in this season that God is beginning to elevate because you have humbled yourself. And I am praying for you as you try to transcend through the vicissitudes of everything that comes against you and your purpose, that you may continue the course of doing what you know is the right thing to do, because this is what has been put upon your heart. Tonight, I want to talk about the issues of the heart. I want to talk about those challenges that we get into by way of trying to do the right thing when the wrong things are done to us. I want to talk about standing in the face of your opponent or your adversary or the enemy when there is a situation that is in front of you that is trying to demand you to act outside of your character or to act with inside of selfishness or with inside of ego or with inside of pride. There are things that are going to constantly tempt every last one of us to respond by way of our ego and to respond by way of our pride. And it is the deception of the greatest deception of all times to make you do something by your pride or by your ego that you will have to reap the harvest of in a day that has not come. So many times we are tested with when people do things and when people say things to us. Our ego wants to rise up. Our ego wants to say, I'm not going to let them make me look like I'm weak or make me look like, I'm just going to take this. I'm going to do something in response. And a lot of times that something that we do in response is exactly what the enemy was waiting for you to do so that you could reap the harvest of that action that was done because you were provoked and because you were tested. And what makes matters worse at times is because we live in a social media society where everyone can share their opinions Everyone can share their thoughts on relationships and interactions, and it becomes the cultural norm for people to become dismissive of others. It becomes the cultural norm for people to share their thoughts about how to handle situations which may not align with the values of what you stand on, which is goodness and which is love. And it is the enemy's deception to use those voices in order to influence culture so that you will perceive that this is a norm to respond or to react after this manner. You know, I have been watching how people will start talking about things such as ghosting, and how people will talk about things such as, and we've all heard this, one way to get over one person is to get on top of another person, right? These are all things that culture has influenced us to believe that it is okay for us to do. If they don't serve you, then it's best for you to just dismiss yourself. Dismissing yourself without explanation and leaving another person wondering why or what happened. Yes, indeed, my friends, that is not a value that you'll want to partake in the harvest of, because again, how you make someone feel, you will feel that way again. The problem is many times is that we are so distant from when we do a particular action towards a person that when we are in the middle of another situation a couple of days or months or weeks later, and we are feeling that same feeling, we have been so far removed from the original action that we are not making the connection that the reason why I am experiencing what I am experiencing is because I sowed the seed into someone's life when I treated them this way. Because we have covered up our actions and our bad actions with putting a label or a cultural normality on top of that action to make ourselves believe that we are validated in how we treat or respond to other individuals, even if it is outside of the confounds of our personal value system. I want to read this scripture to us tonight in hopes that we can dive into it with a little depth. It is in Psalms chapter 47, verse number 7. And it says, "My heart is fixed, O God, my heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise. Awake up, my glory. Awake, psaltery and harp. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among the people. I will sing unto thee among the nation." This is a psalm that David begins to share with us that your heart has to be fixed. His heart was fixed. And because his heart is fixed, no matter where he is standing in front of all types of cultures, he will stand on his principles. His heart is fixed. His heart is fixed to love. His heart is fixed to forgive. His heart is fixed to be kind. When your heart is fixed, you can stand in front of the accusations that are thrown against you. You can stand in a corporate space where people are doing things illegally, or they are doing things that would not go along with the values of the company, and you can stand firm and say, just because you do that, it will not make me act outside of my character. We are often tempted and we are often tested, whether it is in relationships, whether it is in interactions. We are tested with what we see on social media. We are tested with all types of presentations that the enemy sets before us. The Bible calls it the illusions that are put before us every single day, and how we are treated by people and how people respond and react to us. We are all tested with this decision that we have to make of whether we will follow through and do the right thing even when the wrong things are happening to us. David says your heart has to be fixed. I want to share this personal, transparent story with you. And this takes a lot for me to share this because it could be considered embarrassing, or it could be considered that that this is a weak moment for me. But I believe, by way that if I just don't give my ego space, I can share this vulnerable moment and it will help someone else. About 18 years ago, yeah, about 18 years ago now, I got a divorce. And in getting the divorce, years after, I began to start this healing process. I knew that in order for me to remarry or to find a relationship, which I did want, that I needed to heal from the pain that I had endured and or that I had allowed someone else to endure at my own hands. And so I spent so many years, 18 as a matter of fact, in this search of healing myself, of working on myself. But the ego was leading the working on myself, because in essence, I was technically trying to heal myself just so that I could get something else, right? And it wasn't until recently, within the last couple of weeks, that I really sat with myself in a introspective look, and I said, I have forgiven myself, but I had never asked God to forgive me for breaking my vow. I was searching for healing for myself because I just wanted to move on to get something else. My ego was leading me in the fact of it didn't want to be alone, not realizing that God had me in the place of being alone until I came back to the place of asking for his forgiveness for not sticking up and keeping my vow. Now, this has opened up a new opportunity for me to see things through a new perspective. It led me to see how many things I have done in my life after selfish gain. It led me to believe how many conversations, or led me to see how many conversations and interactions I have shown up in ego, and I have shown up in my pride, and I have shown up thinking I'm going after the right thing the right way, but in truth, I was only going after my own benefit and my own gain. It wasn't until I stopped and I realized that it is my service unto God that must lead, that everything I do must come from a place of wanting to serve and wanting to love and wanting to sow and wanting to give into others. And I am a firm believer, and I will not turn down from this, that what we've done unto others, it shall come back into our lives. That as I serve others, it shall come back into my life. Yes, I do still believe that my cup must be full first in order for me to fill others up. But it is a service that I have in my heart, not just to fill my cup for myself, but my service is to fill my cup so that I can help someone else out, someone else that needs a space of healing, a space of deliverance, a word to help them through the darkest hour of their life. When we begin to search after things for our own purpose and for our own will, allowing our pride and our ego to show up in response, we lead ourselves down this path of pain, this path of shame, this path of guilt, that pride never tells you that that's where it's taking you, but it carries you down that road little by little by little by little. It never presents itself and say, hey, I'm pride. I'm going to connect you down this road that's going to lead you down all of these broken and missed opportunities. And the further and further you go down this road, the more shame you're going to feel, the more sadness you're going to feel, the more frustration you're going to feel. It never reveals itself in that manner. And it's not until it's too late and you're feeling the weight and the pressure of decisions that you have made by way of your pride and your ego that you come to the realization, almost like the prodigal son, that, wow, this is why I have gone down this road, because God was really trying to bring me back to a place where I completely repented to him and asked him to search my heart that I may go after things from the right direction. If we look historically throughout the years, it is the unchecked emotions, the unchecked, unfiltered emotions that the enemy has always operated through. We can go back as early as the book of Genesis when Cain actually killed Abel because of jealousy, because Abel's sacrifice was accepted by God and Cain's was not. And so he killed his brother out of jealousy. The emotion unfiltered and actually unchecked led him to make an action that would destroy both lives in just one moment. So many times we go after doing things, and pride or jealousy will lead us to do something, an action, or it will lead us on a job to treat people a certain way so that we can rise up, or it will lead us in a relationship to be dismissive of a person as opposed to just communicating and being responsible. It will lead us to cheat on people and to leave people and dismiss people with never making things right. And it leads us further down this road that will change our lives forever. We can continue in history when we look at the wars that have been fought and how it is pride and ego that have led people to a place where they can't even communicate to get something accomplished by commonality. If we look back at whole groups and ethnicities of people have been marginalized out of fear. We have slavery that has come into existence out of fear, systematic racism that has come into existence, still controlling people's lives out of fear. Families have been destroyed out of fear. Friends, your life can go down this road and this path because you allow unfiltered emotions to lead you because your heart is not fixed on doing the right thing and showing up the right way. I am a believer that when we allow our hearts to be fixed, that reward will always come as a result of our heart being fixed. Well, reward is going to come either way. But the reward that is for your good, the reward that will bless you and that will benefit you, the reward that will break the curse off of your family and off of your family's family, the reward that will cause the change on your place of employment, the reward that will cause a change in your health and in your finances, the reward that will cause a change in any area of your life, and that change being for God's plan and for God's will for you is as of a result of you having a fixed heart. Not being moved by what people say, not being moved by how people treat you, not being moved by culture and what people do, but understanding where your principles lie and standing on them as a firm foundation, and knowing that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning, and knowing that these light afflictions, they are only but for a moment. They shall reap a harvest they can't even be compared to the circumstance that I'm actually going through, that there is a great reward and recompense for those that are willing to stand on the principles of truth and honesty and love and goodness and showing up with the right intentions. Family, I believe that when we sow good seeds, when we sow the right things with our heart being fixed, that we will receive back a benefit and a reward from God. We're not chasing after the things. We are chasing after making sure our heart is positioned correctly. It's a heart issue, friends. When you are being tested with all different types of things around your life, it is because it is a heart issue. Make sure that you are choosing the right choice. I pray that tonight has blessed you, that you have been encouraged, that you have heard that, yes, I've been doing this right, and I can stand still now, and I can receive the reward that God has for me. This is for someone that has been doing the right thing, and you're saying to yourself, I see no signs of God seeing me. God sees everything that you do. God has seen the people that you have forgiven. God has seen the people that you have shown love to that have dismissed you. God has seen the good words that you have spoken over people's lives. The fact that you refuse to speak negative about your friends and about your family. The fact that you are praying for people that are trying to hurt you or harm you or abuse you. Matthew chapter 5 reminds us over and over and over again that it is the humble that shall see God, that it is the meek that shall inherit the earth. Let's not forget those scriptures, that blessed is the peacemaker, that you are blessed when you hold fast to the foundation and the truth that you truly believe in. Show up and treat people good. Fix your heart towards God, and God will ensure that he is always being Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Shalom. He will always be your provider, your keeper, your healer, your protector. He will be your all and your all. Thank you so much for watching tonight. I pray that tonight has blessed you and encouraged you. Please do me a favor and click on the link that is in the bio. And please consider subscribing to all of my different channels. And I would love for you to be a part of my community. If you need prayer, just simply say in the comments, I need prayer. We pray every single Thursday at 6 o'clock a.m. And we would count it as a privilege and an honor to pray for you and for your family. Please consider also sowing. Thank you for those of you that partner with me every single week. I pray every single morning over every single gift that you sow. And I thank God for each and every one of you today. God bless you. Check your heart. It's heart issues that we've got to get worked out. God bless you today.